The active citizen Boniface Mwangi spoke yesterday, and he released a statement on social media where he was saying, I've done my bit and I feel that it's time that I took a break. And I just want to play a clip of part of the long clip of what he recorded and posted on his social media. And then he'll join us on video call shortly to explain to us what exactly this means. Just listen to this.
It's very sad that in this country, that qualification for public office is not ideas, is not vision, is not passion, is not love. For you to become elected in this country, you need money. It can be very dirty money. You need a criminal record. So if you rape, you murder, you loot, and you have a bad reputation, you qualify for public office. If you're willing to compromise your values and go and appease a tribal kingpin or affiliate or associate with a big tribal kingpin, then you can become electable. And I don't think that I'm ready to compromise my values to get elected. The people who are running for president, I don't believe in any of them. The big parties, I don't believe in any of them. And so I don't want to be in that mess of trying to beg people for votes, while knowing very well when it comes to go to the ballot, they'll be voting for their tribe, they'll be voting for someone who bribed them, or they'll be voting for God knows what. If you look at the electorate, the more money you have, the more bad reputation you have, the more crooked you are, the more likely to get elected.
It was basically here giving a background. This is the frustration that very many people feel when they want to throw their hat in the ring and say, you know what, people, I'd like to be given the opportunity to lead. I'd like to be given the opportunity to serve the people of Kenya. He did this in 2017. He vied. He wanted to be the MP for Starehe constituency. He ran a campaign. He did some crowdfunding. People supported him. He did not win that election. And now Boniface Mwangi joins us on the line. Good morning, Boniface.
Good morning, Eric and the team. How are you?
We're very well, thank you. Very good morning to you. So this video, we just played a bit of it, but there was a bigger message at the end that we have not reached, because we want you to take this opportunity before you even go further and tell us the message that you were sending yesterday. What is that message?
That I'm not going to be in elective politics. I was feeling like I was eligible bachelor or a single woman in the market, because every other day I was getting calls and calls for meetings from people who are in the big political parties. Join our party, come work with us. And I'm like, no, we don't share values. So let me step out of the arena and say that I'm not going to fire him, and I'm not going to be in the next year's elections, and I'm not going to comment about what's going to happen for the next 1 year. I'm just going to step away from this, because I feel like I'm a mad person. I say the same thing every single day, and no one is listening to me. So I look like the crazy one. So I said, you know what? I'm going to step out for the sake of my mental wellness and my mental health.
Bonnie, obviously, I mean, also listening to some of the things that you said yesterday, that you put yourself out there and you were not elected. This position that you are at right now, had you been elected, would it be the same?
I think that would be very, very different, because I thought if I was going to get elected, I was going to just continue the fight inside Parliament and continue what I've been doing for the last 4 years. Fight for public grounds, elect people's issues. I would have been an activist in Parliament, but I was never given that chance. But in the last 4 years, even without being elected, I was fighting for people's rights every single day. So nothing changed in my life. The only thing I didn't have is a paycheck, but I was still a people's member of Parliament.
Are you giving up? Because a lot of folks would say, well, this is a fight, blood, sweat and tears. You've been at it for very, very many years. And maybe folks are saying, okay, well, if he's giving up, if somebody who had this position and was really fighting in something that we did believe in, if he's giving up, what happens to the rest of us? Are you giving up?
No, I haven't given up. I just don't want to die. And I think I'm overwhelmed. I see and read so many things every day, people's problems, people's pain, what they're going through, and I try and do my small thing. The problem is it's overwhelming. Where does the doctor goes to get healing? Where does the priest goes when they hear all these confessions? And I want to draw myself from social media, Twitter, Facebook, just get away from that so that I can actually just heal, because I walk around as a very wounded person. There's so much pain inside of me because of what I've seen, what I've read, and the helplessness that I feel because I can only do as much. So for every single story that I post online, I have like 50 of them, and I'm only one part. So if I want to stay longer and be there for my kids, I just need to step away. I haven't given up because I haven't given up.
Boniface.
Yes, sir.
I've heard you say you are alone, you are not being listened to, you probably feel you are not making an impact. Actually, I believe that the complete opposite of what you're saying is what is actually true. Because this path you've chosen, unfortunately, is a fairly thankless one. It's not one of these things where people will come around thanking you for the wonderful things that you're doing. What they'll keep doing is demanding that you do more and more. But more importantly, the step you're taking, in my view, is a good one. Because sometimes you need to let air get into the system. You need to take a breather. Because if you don't do that, then what faces you is what you call a burnout. You will be fatigued all the time. The very things that gave you joy will not give you joy. You don't want to get there because then you will be unproductive to the people you value the most, your family. So a break in this thankless job that you chose to do is absolutely necessary, and you need to recharge. So what we are going to do is we're going to invite you to the studio to join us so that you can be part of our system when we have a guest host, so we can discuss non-consequential things like Turks being deported from the country, and we can discuss even less significant things like the deputy president being held at the airport. Simple issues that one ain't like discussing without too much seriousness, and things which really don't have any consequence on the lives of people. But you need the break.
But I take a different view here, Boniface. When you come out and say that, you feel that you'd like to serve, you feel like you'd like to lead, and you become an active citizen, it should be for the long haul. It should be that, you get to a point where you're here, you take the opportunity to lead. You don't necessarily have to lead by being in parliament, but you lead in your whatever circle you're in. Now, you have had the privilege of actually having a very big circle where you have influenced very many people. You have influenced conversations. You've taken part in leading many things that have had an impact. Maybe you have not felt it yourself, and I'm sure there are very many that you have felt, but it's there. But that's part of it. That's it. If you say, I want to step back from leadership because you are a leader, you are an influencer. If you say you want to step back, whom are you leaving it to?
Everyone else. We are about 47 million Kenyans who need to stand up and do something similar or continue the struggle. Let me tell you this, Eric. So I am 8 years old, unemployed, and then when I went to the bank, the same bank that I've banked for over 15 years, they told me I'm a PEP. I'm a politically exposed person, and they can't give me a loan. And I thought I was an honest citizen. I'm serious.
Oh, banks.
So you couldn't access financing from a bank because you have been profiled as a politically exposed person.
Yes.
He's high risk, in short.
And so imagine trying to live my life every day, and then people fear me. I go to our family meetings and friends, and they say, "Are you recording us? Are you going to tweet?" People get anxious around. So I don't even know that I'm getting the love and the support because I'm Boniface or because I'm on Twitter. It's just tough. So I've told my friends and family, I'm leaving Facebook, I'm leaving Twitter, I'm logging out today, and I won't be there for a long time. So when you see me as me. It's a tweet.
Boniface, that path is a well-trodden path. I'm going to give you an example. There is, if you go to Hellingham, there is a hotel right now. I think it's called Four Seasons. Before that, it had many other names, and it was an establishment that people like going to, especially dons from the University of Nairobi. Now,
Yes.
there's somebody who followed this path that you're following, and he even ended up being a prime minister. At that time, he worked for, yes, but by that time, he had worked for the University of Nairobi. When he'd enter that establishment, people would take off.
He was politically exposed.
No, he was radioactive. People did not want that association at all. So when I look at the way people clamor around him and want to be his friends and want to be his buddy and what have you, you see, when I called it thankless, I gave my mind the liberty of giving it a historical check.
Yes.
This job that you've chosen, unfortunately, cannot win a popularity contest if you are talking about standing up for what is right. In the history of mankind, anybody standing for anything that is right, unfortunately, that is the path that people follow. Even forget people who have similar thoughts. How many people do you know of with whom you started the journey and whom have since left? It's
Many of them.
precisely because those who oppose some of these things have the means to attract these people and to get them on their side.
Yes.
That's why I was saying that at times with a job such as this one that you've chosen, a breather is necessary. Letting air into the system is necessary. Because believe me, there's a limit to how much any human being can take when it comes to, you know what you're doing, you know what you intend to purpose, and yet it is so thankless. You keep asking, why on earth am I doing all this? Why am I bothering with all this? And yet, my friend, what you're doing is genuinely significant.
In addition to that, Boniface, I mean, and I don't think we are in that place where we're saying our job today or any other day after that is to persuade you to change your mind, but maybe to let you in on a few insights. And that's the basis for my question, which has two parts. One, when you started out this life, this particular way in which you have been agitating for the rights of Kenyans, trying to push for good governance and leadership in the country, why did you do it? What convinced you that it was absolutely necessary to have this kind of active participation? What convinced you? And the second part of that question is, has that changed?
So I began this journey on a very selfish ground or reason. Because I'm a father, that time I was a father of one child, and I thought, you know what, I need to change my country for my son. So by the time he's grown up, Kenya will be a different country. It was one child and I have three kids. So every single day when I went out the streets and I protested, I was involved just for my kids. I must play my role as a citizen to make this country better for them. And nothing has changed. The only thing that actually has changed, my mental wellness has become worse over the years. I'm more angry, I'm more irritable. I walk around as a very bitter, angry person. And every time I go on social media, I feel like I just going to drink poison because I get attacked, I get insulted. There's so much bile against me, and there's nothing wrong I've done.
Right.
I'm not a criminal. I don't have a criminal record. I don't earn from taxpayers' money. I've never gotten a single cent from taxpayers. And so instead of me being that space where I'm hated, I want to come home to where I'm loved. I want to become friends to my friends. Because meaning that I wake up every day to open Twitter and Facebook, that means I'm out of that bubble of friends, that I'm actually living with strangers and trying to appease strangers. Now I want to dedicate for the next 1 year loving my friends, appeasing my friends and my family, just enjoying the simple things in life and seeing things without thinking, let me tweet, let me Instagram, let me do this. Because every day when I see something, I want to share with the world. I won't stop sharing with the world and enjoy the moment. So nothing has changed. It's just because I feel like I've been poisoned by my love for this country to a level where I'm a danger to myself, and also I am that guy that people don't be around.
Boniface, let me ask you a question. What did you expect to see happening? All the efforts you've made, the things you've done, what did you expect to see happening?
A different mindset. I thought we'll get a ballot revolution, I thought if you've committed a crime or you are that person who is wrong in this country or who is in this country, never be accepted. I thought that for once, integrity, honest, hard work could be promoted. I thought that Kenyans would just think differently and say, let us become selfish. One of the things that I learned after running for public office is that poor people hate poor people, and poor people don't even love themselves, because poor people are the ones who are voting for the wrong leaders, who are voting for people who exploit them. Poor people have such low self-esteem to a level where they don't think Kenya can be better. They don't even see themselves becoming richer. They can't imagine to dream. They're so poor, they can't dream Kenya can be better. And when I went to work with them, they would ask me, who are you voting for president? Who are you supporting? Instead of telling me, how do we make our community better? Let me give a quick story, if you have a minute for me. So in Mukuru slums campaigning, I went to this man's house. Small shanty. He has 3 kids and a wife. That means 5 in the family. They don't even have a sewer. They have no toilets. They shit in paper bags. And I told him, I'm going to work for you. I'm going to build public toilets. I'm going to build a library. I never went to high school, but I'm self-educated. So I'm going to ensure that your kids have access to a public library and their public toilets. I'm going to make this community better. And this man who shits in a paper bag looks at me and says, lakini pale juu unapigia nani? Who are you voting for president? Wow. Because his problem right there is the toilet and access to clean water. That's sanitation. But before he votes for me, he asked me, who will you vote for president? That will determine how I'm going to vote for you. I want my last message to Kenyan people. Please be selfish. Vote it for yourselves. I go a lot to these lands. These lands are kunanga miti. If you want to know how poor you are, open your window. How many trees do you see? If there are no trees in your community, you're poor. You are poor. If there's no place in your community, you are poor. If you buy water every day, you are poor. If you use a matatu every day and there's no reliable public transport, you're poor. So poor people hate poor people. And poor people in this country are the biggest problem, because when I was running for public office, I was upper middle class. My kids go to private schools. I don't use public transport. I'm upper middle class. And the truth is that people that I was trying to serve and work for are poor people. But poor people hated me because I was not coming there to bribe them and to give them t-shirts and tell them how I'm going to change their lives by appointing their relatives. I was just saying, I'm going to ensure that the government works for you, that your taxes work for you. They despised me. They hated me.
Boniface, so over the years, there's something called experience. So the first time you started this, after the post-election violence, and you went around and you felt you needed to do something, you may have had a certain mindset and a certain thinking of how things could happen and should be done. But over the years, I'm sure you have now realized, you've gotten the context of things, of politics, of how others have even done it. You've interacted with people who've been in the trenches. You're a very good friend, for example, to Dr. Willie Mutunga, who's been in the trenches since the 70s, and you've seen how he's gone. When you speak to such people and the counsel that they give you, haven't you changed your approach or seen, all right, so this is how I can temper my expectations, but this is how I can still continue pushing that journey?
So I am an eternal optimist, and I've seen that Willie went to jail in 82, became Chief Justice in 2010. That's about 28 years of struggle for him to become who he is today. So for me to survive in the long, I need to leave the space so that I can actually heal.
Okay.
I went to jail at the age of 11 years old. I was in approved school. I was expelled at 14. I've been working since I was 14 years old. I started paying rent when I was 17. I've never gone for a sabbatical or leave. I've just been there trying to struggle and work, and then being the people's servant. So I've realized that the change that I want to see won't happen overnight. And if I want to survive longer and become less bitter, then I have to remove myself from the situation and the space for me to heal. Bro, I'm a very bitter, hurting person. I'm problematic to my friends.
I get you now. So what you're doing is you're taking a break. You're not quitting.
No, I'm breaking away from this country. I'm not living this. I just want to heal, bro, because I'm hurting actually every day. Have I been successful yet? I just hurt so much. Right now, when I'm in that position, is like, do I sell out and become one of them, or do I leave the space? And it's much easier for me to live in myself by leaving the space, because it's very easy for me to say tomorrow I'm UDA or I'm ODM or I'm Jubilee. It's so easy for me to do that. I'm so sure they will actually appreciate for me being in the camp. But I'll be standing out for every single thing I've said over the years, and I can't afford to do that, because by doing that, I'll be killing myself. I'll be dying inside just to appease some people.
Right.
So let me leave. I'm long in contention, so that there's no person that, because the thing is, people wake up to tag me in their problems. I want people to wake up to tag the people they elected. Every single day when you say, there's a problem here, kuna maji here, kuna meshikwa, call your MP, call your MCA, call your governor, call your fucking president. Don't call me.
You're angry, Boniface. How long do you want this break to be? Are you
don't
looking
know.
at it and saying, well, I want to give myself some 5 years, and then I will review after 5 years?
No, I want to see how you get who you're going to elect for Kenya's next president. So
Boniface.
I'll be out as long as you guys are campaigning. If you elect someone, I'm like, oh, that's how you want us Kenya to go, and then I say, oh, I'll come back.
Okay.
So I'm going to come back when you elect the next president.
But
that's out.
but Boniface, that invitation was not a joke. We mean it.
Yes.
Yes, we are going to continue inviting you. You need to let air get into the system.
Let me heal, bro. Let me heal. Let me learn how to dance.
That's the point. We actually want you to heal. We are actually offering you therapy.
Thank you very much. Boniface Mwangi, active citizen, says, courage takes a break. Okay, we'll give you that break. There are very many comments on social media on your Facebook page where you posted this. Martin Mongai says, Boniface, this resonates very well with the anger that I have. I see the social injustice in this country, and I ask myself so many times over, are we humans? What are we in this country? I have heard and experienced harrowing stories in the health sector, security, business, education, name them, and I am giving up. What we see on the surface is nothing. Just scratch a little bit and it scares you to death. Many such comments, people wishing you well as you take a break. But also there are those, for example, Arnold Maliba, who says, I know it's traumatic, hard and maims, even kills. Our politics can dehumanize and leaves many lost at sea. But as much as I respect your decision, I don't agree with your choice to walk away.
There's a right to disagree.
Yep. Thank you, Boniface. Take a break. We'll be reaching out to you soon. You will be our guest host after you've taken a bit of a break.
Thank you.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.